Welcome to the mosh pit of news that is Doug in Exile. Oh, my people, I got a lot of stories to cover. Just kind of wrap up a few ends here at the end of the day. Shout out to the Quad Club, the people that watch 4 videos all the way through all day. You guys keep the lights on here, and I really dig y'all. I read the comments. I leave a lot of responses to you. I love to hear from you. Tell me what you think. You guys build up my ego. You're just inflating the daylight. My head is so huge. I have to carry it to bed every night in a wheelbarrow to be able to carry it. We also approve of negative comments are allowed to. You're allowed to criticize. You're allowed to correct. We get a lot of corrections too. But I want to be a trusted news source. I always give my bias. I am pro-MAGA, and I'm here to destroy the Democrat Party. So now you know my agenda. It doesn't mean I'm going to lie to you to accomplish that. I think I can do that just by revealing facts and telling the truth. Here's Letitia James. I thought this was the most interesting article, so that's why I put her on the thumbnail. Over at the Hill, she has a tiny, I don't know if it's a win, but she appealed the last Trump case after Trump's overwhelming victory, getting that case dismissed. She's allowed to appeal that dismissal. New York, this is over at the Hill. New York Attorney General Letitia James appeals ruling that wiped colossal Trump penalty in civil fraud case. So this was one of the higher courts, not the Supreme Court, but one of the higher courts said, Letitia James and Judge Engoron, your $450 million fine against Trump was too much. It was outside of the purview. So they reversed it. And then she goes in and reverses that. That's what this article is about. We're going to read a little bit of it together. New York Attorney General Letitia James has appealed a court's ruling that threw out a colossal penalty imposed upon President Trump, his business empire, but kept her sprawling civil fraud case against him intact. Her office filed, and by the way, that's also going to be appealed by Trump. Her office filed a notice of appeal Thursday with New York's highest court, signaling its intention to challenge a mid-level appeals court's decision that wiped away the roughly $500 million penalty, but otherwise affirmed the trial court. So maybe this makes its way up to the Supreme Court finally, and we can reveal her as a fraud. Judges on the state appellate division's first department issued a deeply fractured decision last month upholding the lower court's determination that Trump and other defendants, including his eldest sons, conspired to alter his net worth for tax and insurance benefits. By the way, something that Letitia herself is guilty of. However, the mid-level court called the financial penalty Judge Arthur Engoron, the trial judge imposed on Trump and his businesses, excessive. A bench trial resulted in a $464 million judgment plus interest, which ballooned the total up to $527 million by the time the panel eliminated it. The consensus was reached despite none of the court's 3 opinions garnering majority or support, with one pair of judges observing that a remarkable situation has necessitated a remarkable solution, which is the removal of it. It allowed the case to move along to the Court of Appeals, New York's highest court. So I believe the next step might be to go to the Supreme Court. The brief noticed from James's office does not detail any arguments as to why the decision should be reversed, because they have no reason, which will come in future court filings. I will be fascinated to find. Remember, it has to be new information. They can't just repeat what happened in the trial if it's an appeal. Now I'm going to give you a smattering of news before we cut it off today. Here's John Solomon reports breaking U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro confirms 2 arrests linked to the killing of a congressional intern. That's progress and good news. Here's a weird one from Caroline Leavitt, the House press secretary. A very refreshing change. Tech CEOs praised Trump during a White House dinner. This was last night. I find it kind of funny. There's Donald and Melania Trump. Now sitting next to Melania over there, this is Bill Gates. So all of MAGA is going, Trump, what are you doing? And he started talking about the advocacy of creating new genetically altered vaccines. Do you think that'll raise any controversy over here on MAGA? And they started asking Trump specifically, the press did, about what he felt about RFK Jr. being nailed right now in these congressional hearings about his stance on vaccines. And Trump said, I like him. He thinks a little different. He didn't put full distance between them, but he's giving RFK Jr. a long leash. And I believe RFK Jr. eventually will have science on his side. And I don't even know what the science will come out with, but I believe that the science will be allowed to finally conduct the kind of science they need to do without bias one way for or against these vaccines. And then on the other side of Trump there, on the left is Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. And he has confirmed that he's giving $600 million to some kind of a giant AI factory or something here in America. So that's good. And then David Sachs on the far left, who we have shown a lot of his clips on the crypto czar. I'm not that troubled that Trump is chummy and kind with Zuckerberg and Gates. You know, you keep your enemies close. And I think it's good to always be in conversation with them. If he's willing to talk to Putin, okay, and Kim Jong-un and all these other despots, it's okay for him to have a conversation with Zuckerberg and Bill Gates. I actually think in The Art of War, you can get a lot more from Gates and Mark by chumming up with them, and as opposed to having them be an adversary that's going to fund all of your opponents with their billions of dollars. Probably, I think it's a good move. Trump should talk to them, get all this input from them. Here's more. This is amazing. Pam Bondi reveals the Biden regime allowed the transfer of over $7 million for the trafficking of children into the U.S. from just one smuggler. This is how you know the smuggler made over $40,000 per victim of child that he came in and smuggled and profited $18 million, as per Pam Bondi. Now, I just want to emphasize this. Remember this. Pam Bondi is the first to crack this open to the public. She's actually cares about saving children. Tom Massey and all these pro-Epstein people that are saying Pam Bondi is part of a cover-up, they are not helping children at all. She's the only one actually helping children today. When Democrats come after Trump and say the Epstein files are part of a cover-up and that Trump is insensitive to children because he said it was a hoax, he was not saying that was a hoax. Trump and Bondi are actually doing something about ending child suffering today. Going after Epstein does not end any child suffering today. It's tabloid. If you care about it, these arrests are being made. The same thing's been said of Kash Patel is going after current victims. Tom Homan's going after current victims. They have limited resources. I say they go after current victims to save them instead of pulling resources and going off this other thing. Here's Pam Bondi.
Destroyed drives up their profit margins. No longer. We are investigating and prosecuting their crimes more aggressively than ever. And Joint Task Force Alpha is the tip of the spear. We have been working on that with Secretary Kristi Noem, Homeland Security. And I cannot say enough good things about Secretary Noem. I was with her in Louisiana yesterday, and she is fighting to keep our country safe every single day. This week, Joint Task Force Alpha took 4 major enforcement actions. Right here in Tampa, we unsealed the indictment charging 12 defendants operating right here in Tampa, a massive illegal smuggling ring. The defendants engaged in a conspiracy to bring illegal aliens from Cuba to the U.S. for profit.
Who wants Pam Bondi to get off this case right now? She just stopped an active child smuggling ring in Tampa. How many resources should she put over on Epstein? You know what I mean? I'm actually for the children. Active kids today, they have duct tape on them. They're stuck in a closet somewhere in Tampa. All we need are more resources put on the ground. And people are saying, Pam, stop this right now. Put all your resources on reading 33,000 heavily redacted Epstein files that ran through. That's evil. Democrats do not care about children or victims. We know this. My audience knows this. My audience is smart. I lost 200 subscribers yesterday. They can go off on their little wild goose chase tangent. My audience cares about children. They're not going to be distracted with a Democrat hoax.
They coached their clients, including children who came to airports alone, came to our country alone, were put on planes for connecting flights, lied to Border Patrol agents due to coaching, and law enforcement. They charged up to $40,000 per victim. They used Zelle to transfer over $7 million over the course of this scheme, and I believe had profits, cash of over 18 million.
That's the Biden administration. That's Mayorkas. By the way, Thomas Massie is greatly undermining her work. Thomas Massie, who claims to care about victims in Kentucky, is full of caca. I'm not buying it, Massie. You undermine this good work. One more news article. I'm sure you'll be relieved. Jill Biden reveals she's leaving her teaching career. Now, she's a longtime teacher. Sometimes it can be hard to walk away from a career that you truly love, but eventually everyone needs to decide when the time is right to retire. For First Lady Jill Biden, that time has come now. She teaches English, by the way, and she has for 15 years. She's supposed to be a pretty decent English teacher. I wish she had taught Joe Biden English, and I wish she'd taught all of the illegals that her husband let into the country. I wish she taught all them English and taught them the Constitution. She didn't do that. She went and taught elites. By the way, I taught at university at Houston Baptist University. I taught some Hollywood type writing and comic classes and stuff for 4 years. And I realized, like, teaching is not for me. I'd rather make stuff than teach. I love my students, but it was time to move on. And Jill Biden, maybe she can spend a little more time taking care of her deeply infirmed husband who has cancer and can't speak right. Take care of your guy. Here's more good news. This is from my man, U.S. Senator John Fetterman. I like this guy. It's hard to hate him. This is from The Hill. The Hill, a pair of Senate Democrats charge Israel with ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. This is when you attack the victim. That's what Democrats do. Attack the victim. Israel is the victim. And they go and they side with Palestinians. Hamas. Fetterman. Now, this is him confronting his own party. I want you guys to know this is very difficult to do. It's not always right. It's not always good to do. But in this case, Fetterman's not gaining anything from the Jews in AIPAC for doing this. He says, I reject this in the strongest terms. He's taking a stand. My party's ongoing, escalating betrayal of Israel is gross and outrageous. Well said. There's some people in my party that are doing the same thing. And the Republican Party, little troubling. It's gross and outrageous. Good job, John Fetterman. See, I'm giving you guys even some John Fetterman, some Democrat news. Don't say I would never put an X next to him. You're in the wrong party, dude. Your party's completely suicidal. Come over to the Republican Party and let's do some good, friend. Never vote for a Democrat. Here's more trash on Biden. Breaking the Department of Education just revealed the Biden administration weaponized the Department of Education against Christians. That's you and me, my brothers and sisters. They're after us. Why? Because we're followers of Christ. We have Jesus in our heart. So Biden administration went nuts. Screw all you guys in the Biden administration, scum. This is what everyone does to Christians. It's our job. It's our job to be martyred. These people need to be jailed over this. They imposed record-breaking fines against Christian universities and targeted school boards who listened to religious objections from parents. There's the legal document, Department of Education, finding of anti-Christian bias. See, all these people, all these Democrats will say, we believe in separation of church and state. That made up, invisible line. We believe in that. And then they'll do higher fines for Christian schools, lower fines if you're a Marxist, DEI, pro-gay schools. That's how this works. Weaponization of policies targeting Christian and higher education. The Biden administration weaponized the Department of Education and attempted to impose record-breaking fines, just like Engoron and Letitia James did against Trump, record-breaking fines on some of the nation's largest Christian universities, including Liberty University. That was Jerry Falwell's university he started for $14 million. And Grand Canyon University, $37 million. That's out in Arizona. The beloved Miss Tenaple went there right up through her sophomore year. And then she transferred to Point Loma Nazarene College in her junior year. And that's when I met her my senior year. I get it. And my nephew, another Tenaple, went to Grand Canyon university. Targeting of school boards. My kids all went to a Christian education. And Biden, who claims to be a Catholic. All those fake Christians that are Democrats, fake Christians. You target Christians, you target conservative Christians, you target universities, and then you give all the money to your Democrat, atheistic, baby-killing, traditional marriage destroying institutions. Got nothing for you, Biden administration. What a satanic empire. If you haven't thanked God for Trump winning yet, we're doing it wrong. I don't even know what Trump's spiritual status is. I don't have to blanket him and call him a Christian. I will say that God used him in a way, and God didn't send me a special message of what he's doing with Trump, so I'm not claiming that either. But I can look at the ground and see clear facts. Christians dodged a bullet by Kamala Harris losing. And the Christians that voted for Kamala Harris were against all of the good, godly work that Trump does, saving unborn children, ending the transmutilation of children, ending the corruption at USAID that was funneling money to political parties in the name of saving children, trafficking children by the Biden administration, by Mayorkas, 300,000 children. Is Christianity against that good work? Because Trump ended it and we support him in it and I champion him in it. God bless you, Trump. May God's face shine upon you. May you be multiplied and increased. And of course, may you also always be repenting of your sin. But wait, there's more. The Trump administration detained 475 illegal aliens at a Hyundai site in Georgia. Marjorie Taylor Greene, what's going on in Georgia? What are you doing? We are sending a clear and equivocal message that those who exploit our workforce, undermine our economy, and violate federal laws, that will be held accountable. That is a Hyundai factory. Said they wanted to open a factory to create jobs for Americans. And what did they do? They hired 475 illegal aliens to work. That's jobs that could go to Americans. And I've been to Georgia. You guys know we do that Dalton, Georgia fundraiser. There's people addicted to fentanyl and meth. White guys who need a job. Let's get them a job at this factory, turn their life around.
We are sending a clear and unequivocal message that those who exploit our workforce, undermine our economy, and violate federal laws will be held accountable. I'd like to add that this was not a immigration operation where agents went into the premises, rounded up folks, and put them on buses. This has been a multi-month criminal investigation.
Now, then CNN cuts him off. That is, so he's an agent. This is Stephen Schrank, DHS special agent. He already knows it's going to be politicized. He goes, before you go there, we've been working on this probably since the Biden administration, and they shut it down. Good work. Keep up the good work. Deport those illegals, give the jobs to Americans that are in trouble in Georgia. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you got trouble there in Georgia. Maybe quit jumping into bed with Thomas Massie and getting on the Epstein bus. Let's get back on the Trump MAGA agenda in your state. Hope you guys enjoy this content. I would love to earn your subscription. I'm trying to get up to 600,000 subs. I can't do it without you. But you know what? I'm pretty satisfied and thrilled with the audience I have too. I love y'all. I'm Doug in Exile.